The world is a complex and often confusing place. We search for meaning and purpose. We yearn for connection and understanding. In our quest for truth, we encounter many teachers and teachings. One such teacher was Gurdjieff. He was a mystic and philosopher who offered a unique and powerful system for self-transformation. His teachings, often enigmatic and challenging, continue to resonate with seekers around the globe. Gurdjieff's work invites us to look within, to confront our limitations, and to strive for a higher level of consciousness. Gurdjieff's teachings are as relevant today as they were a century ago. In a world increasingly dominated by technology, distractions, and external pressures, many of us feel fragmented and disconnected. We struggle to find inner peace and fulfillment. Gurdjieff reminds us that true transformation begins with self-knowledge. We must understand ourselves in order to change ourselves. His teachings offer a roadmap for this inner journey. Gurdjieff's legacy is not confined to books and lectures. It lives on in the lives of those who have been touched by his wisdom. His students and followers have established schools and communities around the world. They continue to explore and transmit his teachings, offering others the opportunity to embark on their own journeys of self-discovery. At the heart of Gurdjieff's system lies the concept of the three brains. These are not the physical brains we know from biology. They are centers of intelligence that govern different aspects of our being. These centers are the moving center, the emotional center, and the intellectual center. Each center has its own distinct functions and characteristics. The moving center governs our physical actions and movements. It is responsible for our instincts, reflexes, and habitual patterns. The emotional center is the seat of our feelings, emotions, and desires. It colors our experiences with joy, sadness, anger, fear, and love. The intellectual center is the realm of our thoughts, ideas, and beliefs. It allows us to reason, analyze, and make sense of the world around us. These three centers are not isolated entities. They interact and influence each other constantly. Our thoughts can trigger emotions. Our emotions can drive our actions. Our physical sensations can shape our perceptions. However, in most individuals, these centers operate in a state of disharmony. They compete for dominance. They pull us in different directions. This internal conflict creates much of the suffering and dysfunction we experience in our lives. The moving center is the most basic of the three centers. It is rooted in our animal nature. It governs our survival instincts, our automatic responses to stimuli, and our physical habits. When we instinctively pull our hand away from a hot stove, it is the moving center at work. When we drive a car without conscious thought, it is the moving center operating on autopilot. The moving center is also responsible for our physical skills and coordination. Athletes, dancers, and musicians, for example, rely heavily on a well-developed moving center. They train their bodies to perform complex movements with precision and grace. The moving center is not inherently good or bad, it is simply a part of our nature. However, when the moving center dominates our behavior, we become slaves to our instincts and habits. We may engage in unhealthy behaviors. We might repeat the same mistakes over and over again. We may find it difficult to break free from routines, even when they no longer serve us. The emotional center is a realm of intense and often contradictory feelings. It is the source of our passions, our fears, our joys, and our sorrows. The emotional center colors our experiences with vibrancy and depth. It allows us to connect with others on a profound level. When we fall in love, it is the emotional center that sweeps us off our feet. When we grieve the loss of a loved one, it is the emotional center that aches with sorrow. The emotional center, like the moving center, is neither positive nor negative in itself. It is a fundamental aspect of what makes us human. It is through the emotional center that we experience the world with such richness and intensity. However, when the emotional center dominates our behavior, we become slaves to our passions and moods. We may make impulsive decisions that we later regret. We might lash out at others in anger. We may wallow in sadness or anxiety. We might find ourselves constantly seeking external validation and approval. Section 5. The intellectual center, a realm of thoughts and ideas. The intellectual center is the seat of our higher cognitive functions. It allows us to think abstractly, analyze information, and solve problems. It is the source of our language, our creativity, and our capacity for self-reflection. When we learn a new language, it is the intellectual center that helps us to grasp the grammar and vocabulary. When we come up with a creative solution to a problem, it is the intellectual center that sparks the inspiration. The intellectual center is often seen as the most evolved of the three centers. It sets us apart from other animals and allows us to engage in complex thought processes. However, the intellectual center, like the other centers, can become a source of imbalance when it operates in isolation or dominates the other centers. When the intellectual center dominates, we may become lost in our thoughts. We might overthink things and struggle to be present in the moment. We may prioritize logic and reason over intuition and feeling. We might become overly critical of ourselves and others. Section 6. Discord within, the struggle for harmony. In an ideal world, our three centers would work together in perfect harmony. Our movements would be graceful and purposeful. Our emotions would be balanced and appropriate. Our thoughts would be clear and focused. However, for most of us, this is not the reality. Our centers are often at odds with each other. They pull us in different directions, creating inner conflict and suffering. Imagine, for example, that you are offered a tempting piece of cake. Your moving center, driven by the desire for pleasure, urges you to take a bite. Your emotional center, perhaps feeling a sense of deprivation, might chime in with a chorus of, "Go on, treat yourself." However, your intellectual center might remind you of your health goals and advise you to resist the temptation. This simple example illustrates how easily our centers can clash. This internal struggle plays out in countless ways throughout our lives. It can manifest as procrastination, addictive behaviors, relationship problems, and a general sense of dissatisfaction. Section 7. The path to integration, cultivating self-awareness. The key to harmonizing the three centers lies in developing self-awareness. We must learn to observe ourselves objectively, without judgment. We must become aware of the different voices within us, the impulses and desires that drive our thoughts, feelings, and actions. This process of self-observation is not easy. It requires honesty, courage, and persistent effort. Gurdjieff offered a variety of practices and techniques to help his students cultivate self-awareness. These included self-observation exercises, conscious labor, and intentional suffering. Self-observation involves paying attention to our thoughts, emotions, and sensations without getting carried away by them. Conscious labor involves engaging in tasks with full attention and intention, even mundane or repetitive tasks. Intentional suffering involves embracing discomfort and challenges as opportunities for growth. Section 8. The Dance of Unity, harmonizing the three centers. Harmonizing the three centers is not about suppressing or eliminating any one center. It is not about becoming emotionless robots or denying our physical needs. It is about creating a state of dynamic balance, where each center plays its role without dominating the others. When our centers are in harmony, we experience a sense of wholeness, purpose, and inner peace. Our movements become more graceful and efficient. Our emotions become more balanced and appropriate to the situation, Our thoughts become clearer and more focused. We are better able to make decisions that are aligned with our values and goals. We are more present in the moment and more connected to ourselves and the world around us. This state of harmony is not a fixed destination. It is an ongoing process of self-discovery and refinement. It is a dance that requires constant attention and adjustment, but the rewards of this dance are immeasurable. Section 9. A Journey of Self-Discovery, Embracing the Gurdjieffian Legacy. Gurdjieff's teachings offer a powerful framework for understanding the human condition and the path to self-transformation. The concept of the three centers provides a roadmap for exploring our inner landscape, identifying our strengths and weaknesses, and cultivating greater self-awareness. The journey to self-unity is not for the faint of heart. It requires courage, commitment, and a willingness to confront our limitations. However, the rewards of this journey are immeasurable. By harmonizing our moving, emotional, and intellectual centers, we can unlock our full potential as human beings. We can experience a level of freedom, fulfillment, and purpose that we never thought possible. As Gurdjieff himself once said, the aim of life is to live consciously. By embracing the wisdom of the three brains, we can begin to live more consciously, more authentically, and more fully. The journey starts with a single step. Take that step today.